last customizing session when I was working on Prime, I put out the question if anybody wanted to see how I do paint eyes. I had quite a few people want to see that, and so we're going to paint some eyes on the alternate head. I got a few various colors of shades of paint. Prime's got brown eyes. I got various shades of brown, some black, some flesh tone, the warm flesh tone, and some white. First up, we'll start with black. First thing I do, well, need these two. These are super strong reading glasses, stronger than I actually need, but works great when you try to zoom in for close detail. Well, the first things I do with painting eyes, I paint the top of the eye. I get that black line up top, and you can be a little, if your hand's not super steady at first, you can actually touch up the flesh tones. After that dries, I come in with the white. Okay, let's go ahead and get the black on the eyes on this one. Actually have a fresh brush I haven't used before. Let's see. Trying to get where I can get in here and work on this, and you see what I'm doing at the same time, because I got some big old ham hocks for hands. Doing little practice strokes just to warm up a little bit before I put paint on my brush. See where I want the paint to flow. A little clean up on the head right quick. Okay. Just the tiniest bit of paint on my brush. Sorry, I had to readjust the camera when trying to get close and stare at it. I kept hitting the fitting that holds the camera mount. Okay, that's one side. Get a little too much on it like I did the other side. Don't worry about it. We're going to be painting white over top of that anyway. Okay, we got the top lines taken care of. We'll let this dry and I'll come back with the white paint. Okay, let's go ahead and paint the whites of the eyes. I try to hold the part hard, as firm as I can, push against my other finger, steady my other hand when I'm painting. Take a deep breath. And you don't have to try to cover with one coat. You can come back and add more. you don't stay within the boundaries of the eye when you're painting the whites, don't worry. You can clean it up with some flesh tone afterwards. That's what I usually do. I'll do a, you'll see. Used to do this much more difficult. I would actually add the black line above the eye, like for the represent the eyelashes. I used to do that after I would paint the eyes, which makes it much more difficult. It was like, why? Wasn't too bad though. I would use these Fine Art Prismacolor 005 fine art pens. You can super fine tip. You can actually use these to paint the colors of the eyes as well, but I'm going to be using paint for this process. Okay, let's let the first coat dry. We'll come back and hit it with another coat of white. And we're ready to start adding color for our iris. Get ready for the second coat of white on the eyes. Take a breath. Don't breathe. Exhale. Hope you can see what I'm doing. It's focusing on the head and not my big ham hock hands. We have good coverage. And with this dry, we'll come back and paint the irises. And we're ready to start painting irises. I like to do two colors for my irises. I'm going to take some burnt sienna and some black, mix up a really dark brown as for the base, and we'll come back with a leather brown for the light of the eye. Let's mix up some dark brown. Mix up way more than what I need, but I'd rather have more. Too much than not enough. By doing a base darker color of the eye, the color of your iris, you can get that natural edge of like a real eye. You could also just use black as your edge color, but I like to mix up a darker version of what my iris is going to be. This will dry a different color than what you got mixed up as well, so take that into account. I'm going to took a piece of styrene, sharpen both edges. This is a really fine point. This one's more of a blunt point. I'm going to use the blunt point for this. This is a little bit bigger head. I want to use the fine point. Well, that sounds counterintuitive, but I need a larger iris than what I usually make on a regular Legends head. You want actually I'm going to go to the brush. This guy's got some big ol' eyeballs. You want your iris to touch both the bottom and top of the eyelid lids. I usually just tap. You want to try to get these as round as possible. Well, it's hard to do. It's this skill and keep your hand steady. It's got a little bit of bleeding on the bottom of the eye, but that's nothing to worry about. I want to take some warm flesh tone, go underneath the bottom of the eyelid. Let this dry, we'll go to our next step. Okay, we have the darker color of the iris is painted on. It's dry. Like I said, it looks a little sloppy at the bottom. We'll clean that up here. That's one of the last steps we do is clean that up. I want the lighter color. I want to do the lighter color of the iris, leather brown. Ready to start painting the lighter color of the iris. You can see, just using a little touch, dabbing on with my paintbrush, leaving the ring of the darker brown around the eye. Let this dry up and come back paint the pupils. Alright, it's time to paint some pupils on through the eyes. For that, I'm going to use my sharpened styrene rod. A touch of black. One down, one to go. Add a little bit more to this one. Pupils done. Let those dry a little bit, and we'll put the Spectral Highlight onto the eyes. Okay, we let that the pupils dry. I'm going to put a little bit of Spectral Highlight onto the eyes using the same sharpened styrene rod. We'll come back and touch up the pupils just a little bit. There you go. Go back and touch up the pupils. Gives you like a nice C shape up to your Spectral Highlight. Little crescent shape. We're going to go ahead and touch up the bottom edge of the eyes. You see they're a little sloppy at the bottom. You get that roundness on the bottom. I don't want to have the iris to be perfectly round at the bottom. I want the bottom eyelid just to cut it off a little bit. We're going to use a warmer skin tone. Add the tear duct a little bit, get a little bit of warmer pink skin tone down here. If you have more of the flesh tone left over when you paint your face, you don't have to worry about being too perfect. You can come back over and clean the edge up with that lighter flesh tone. While we're in here, let's go ahead and accent the recessed areas around the eyes, on the brow. See, we have a pretty good looking set of eyes now. Without the eyebrows, it will look a little funny. Once we come back in and paint the eyebrows, should look really good. I want to paint the lips as well. Okay, let's do a quick little touch up at the bottom of the eyes. Leave that little pink edge really thin. Make it look like the edge of the eyelid. I think that should about wrap up the paint eyes. I hope this was helpful, and I appreciate everyone watching the video. Please like, share. If you have any questions, comment down below. I'll catch you all next time.